Hi, I'm Sherry here at the Little Beading Closet. I just finished designing the Trinity Cross pendant. It gets its name with the 3 crystals along each arm. The center is a unit of cubic right angle weave and then attach the arms. Of course, they're all the same, this one being different in length. The stitch really lends itself to the cross being strong and keeping its shape. I set the bail on the back of this pendant. That way it can lay nice and flat against whatever you're wearing or your skin. So let's take a look at the supplies and begin beading. You will need 3mm bicone crystals, 8 in one color and 4 of another. Size 15 seed beads. Size 11 round seed beads. Size 11 delica beads. And 12 4mm bicone crystals. The center of the cross is a cubic right angle weave unit made up of 3mm bicone crystals. You need a total of 12 of them, and today I'll be showing you how to do it with 4 in one color and 8 in another. When you're making your very first cross, it will help you identify which side you're working on when you get to the end of your arms and are adding the crystals. You can go ahead and pick up 4 of your 3mm bicone crystals and bring them down near the end of your thread. You don't need a tail for this project, just a little bit left over that you can hang on to. And then needle back through all 4 of the bicones. And then back through one more, pulling your threads until they form a unit of right angle weave. Next, we're going to advance the thread up to the bead opposite of where we're coming out of. So coming through the crystal here and this one. Both my working thread and my tail thread are both coming up. Moving on to the next color of bicone, picking up 3 and coming back through the bead that my thread is exiting and pulling those into a right angle weave. Again, needle over here to the end by coming up 1 and through the one on the end, 3 more crystals, back through the one that your thread is exiting. Again, pulling this into a unit of right angle weave, advancing up to the end. Now you have 3 units of right angle weave. You can count them by the beads sitting up here at the top, 1, 2, and 3. You want the bead on this very end and the bead on this very end to kiss each other. So I'm going to bring it together until they're touching. It's like they're kissing. Picking up 1 more crystal. I'll be needling down through this one that my tail is coming out of. The very last crystal, coming back up this side. We're just going to take a second to look at this. We have the gold side, one side that shares the gold wall, a completely blue side, and another side that shares the gold wall. Holding the cube so my working thread is exiting the lower right, I'm going to needle through these 4 crystals that are sitting up here on the top because they're not technically connected together yet. And I'm going to do that with a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll notice that your working thread and your tail are together at this point. And you're going to needle down through this lower left-hand corner, turning your whole little cube over. Again, holding it in your hand so the thread is exiting the bottom right. Needle through the 4 crystals on top with a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You just completed your first unit of cubic right angle weave. Let's go ahead and get our needle and thread in position to add our first cross arm. If you're using all the same color, you can stay right where you are. But since I do have one side here that is all gold, that is what I'm going to needle over to that bead, the gold one. And now that I'm exiting the gold bead, I'll be ready to add my first cross arm. Now you're going to see how to make the arms of the cross, along with adding the trinity of crystals on the end. And we'll begin with size 11 seed beads. It's really much easier now that you have your base of cubic right angle weave started with the 3mm crystals. Picking up 3 size 11 seed beads, needle back through the crystal that your thread is exiting. As we add each additional unit of cubic right angle weave, we'll be working with a pattern of 3 beads, then 2, then 2, and 1. So we just added 3. For visual reference, we'll move these 3 out of the way. Rotate the cube in your hand and needle through the next crystal. This time pick up 2. And you're going to come through 1 seed bead, and you'll see how those 3 now sit along the edge of your crystal. Needle through the crystal, rotate your cube one more time, and step into the next crystal. Again, 2 seed beads, coming through 1 seed bead here, and back through the crystal, rotating it in your hand, and advancing through 1 more crystal. This time we're just going to be using 1 seed bead. I do like to turn it in my hand to come up the 1. Makes it a little easier to get through. Picking up the last seed bead and coming through here and back through the crystal. Again, we're going to turn it in our hand, come up, and hold everything so our thread is exiting the lower right. The 4 seed beads here are not connected to each other yet, so we're going to do the 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we have the 2 units of right angle weave. You can count them by the beads on top, 1 and 2. We're going to add 1 more. As we go around, adding 3, 2, 2, and 1, just like before. With the 3 seed beads, coming back through the 1 that your thread is exiting, rotating it and coming through the next seed bead, this time picking up 2, coming through this one, and then advancing through this one. Rotating it to the next side. Advance your needle into the seed bead, picking up 2 more, coming down this one, and back through here. Rotating it one more time, advance your needle through here, coming up 1, one more seed bead, through here, and then come back through this one. Now let's come up to the end, up through here, looking at it so my thread is coming out here at the bottom right. I'll do the 5 count, 1, 2, just so we connect all these beads together, 3, 4, and 5. If you're using 2 colors of crystals in the center, you need your needle and thread in position for the next step. I'm going to needle through 1 more bead here on the end. So I'm exiting the seed bead that sits here. It's not on the same flat side that has all the gold crystals, but on my other side. Next, to add the trinity of crystals at the end, you'll be using the 4mm bicone crystals, size 15 seed beads, and the size 11 seed beads. Picking up 3 of the seed beads and 1 crystal, then 3 more of your seed beads. Needle right through here, pulling that along the edge. Again, 3 seed beads, your crystal, and 3 more of the seed beads. And needle through the seed bead here. I'm going to completely turn this piece over. You can see that now we're on the side with the gold 3mm bicones. Picking up 3 more seed beads and needling through the crystal. Three more of the seed beads, and we're going to come through the seed bead here. Again, 3 seed beads, coming through the next crystal. Three more of the seed beads. And this time we're going to be needling through the very last seed bead of our right angle weave up here. Back here to the side, that is all on the blue. Come up the 3 seed beads through the crystal, 1 size 15 seed bead, your crystal, and another size 15 seed bead. Needle through the next crystal, and and then come down 3 seed beads and back through the last one on the end of your right angle weave. Now that you've just added the first arm, we're going to come to the center and add another one of the same size. Let's continue around a little further through this one, I'm going to trim off the tail. Using the 4 crystals here, start building your cubic right angle weave units and Trinity arm on this side. So with 3 seed beads coming through here, rotating it and advancing into the next crystal. You can go back in the video to watch how it's done over again if you need a refresher. This is the first arm, and you attach your second arm. Now we're going to get in position to add the third arm, coming through here, this way, and here, through here, coming through this one, and then up the side crystal. And now you'll be in position to start working on one more arm of the same size. Now that you have added the last arm of equal length, we're going to come down here to add the long one, coming down this way, through here, continuing down through my crystal towards the bottom, and then turning your piece. You'll be working with the 4 crystals here, coming through this one, turning it in my hand so my thread is coming out the top, picking up the 3 seed beads and needling back through the crystal, coming through this one with 2 seed beads, just like we've been doing. And now you're going to start building your right angle weave units here. If you count this as 1, you'll make a total of 5 cubic right angle weave units. So you counted the 1, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5. And then add the Trinity crystal end, finishing up the end here, coming through the 3 seed beads. Now that the cross is to this point, we have to fill in the gaps between our size 11 seed beads. This is what it looks like now. And once you fill in the gaps, using size 15 seed beads and delicas, it will look like this. So let me show you how to do it. Using size 15 seed beads and size 11 delicas, we'll do one side first and then flip over and do the other side the same way. Starting with the size 15 seed beads and exiting these 3 here, needle into the first size 11. This step is really going to tighten up your piece and make it nice and strong. So you're going to continue placing a size 15 seed bead in the gap between each 11 until you get up here by the crystals. going to be adding the 5th size 15, pulling it into place. And you can see that your piece wants to curve a little bit. The 15s are smaller, it will cinch in your piece. And then when you're ready to come to the next arm, use a delica bead. I think the delica bead sits here much better than a 15 or a size 11 round, but you could use a size 11 round if you want. Again, using the size 15. One more 15 through the 3 before your crystals. Needle through the crystals and 15s until you exit the last crystal. And yes, my piece is curving. Coming down the 3, one more 15 through here. One more 15. And then when you go from one arm to the next, use your delica. And continue working along the edge of your cross until you get back down here. I'm going to add the last size 15 on this side, coming down through these 3 and pulling it tightly into place. Now turning the entire piece over, needle down these 3, and then fill in all the spaces on this side with your size 15s and delicas. Follow along the thread path. And exit right here. I'm considering this the back of the cross with the gold. I do want the blue to be my front. Having the bail attach on the back allows the cross to sit flush on your skin and gives you ample room to put any kind of necklace through that you'd like. If you're using a thread closer to your bead color, it won't be so noticeable, but for the tutorial, I just wanted you to be able to see what we were working on. I'm still going to use size 11 seed beads for the bail. Picking up 2 size 11s, needle down the 1 seed bead opposite of the one you're coming out of, pulling those on top, come back up this side, and through the seed bead that you just added. Continue adding pairs of beads. I like to do 18. I'm going to turn this into a loop. And now I'll needle into bead number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Coming through bead 6. I'll just pass my thread through the hole. And coming down the seed bead beside it, headed towards the cross. And then connecting back into this section here to form a bail. I'm going to retrace this, coming down here, back up number 6, through the middle, down number 6, and then back up through the front, pulling everything tight. I'm just going to come all the way around here, down to this point, and trim off my tail. I hope that you enjoyed making this beautiful Trinity beaded cross. There's so many different color combinations you can choose. Whatever you do, enjoy, and I hope you have a beautiful day.